Dolores in Lacey, Washington. Hey, Dolores, you wanted to talk about immigration?
Yes, I'm concerned about the 50,000 or more children that have been coming in illegally from Central America area.
Right.
I'm worried about them. They're going to be traumatized.
Yes.
Because they're away from their families, and we'll be having more problems with health care. It's hard enough here now to get a chance to go to the doctors.
Right.
And the schools will be full. How will they handle all those people coming in?
Well, here's a couple thoughts, Dolores. Number one, in a country of 310 or 20 million people, 50,000 kids is nothing. But there is a larger issue here. First of all, there's the larger issue of roughly 10 or 11 million undocumented people in this country. But I think the real issue, and in fact, Louise and Sean have been working on getting a guest on about this problem, is that these kids are showing up because there's just wild violence going on in El Salvador and Honduras, two countries that Ronald Reagan savaged back when Daniel Ortega in Honduras, I believe it was, maybe it was Nicaragua. Ortega was engaged in commerce with both the United States and with Cuba, and Reagan told him, "No, you can't have commerce with Cuba." And Ortega was a leftist, right? And in other words, free schools for everybody, Social Security, all that kind of stuff. And so Ollie North started smuggling weapons, taking money from the weapons that they were illegally selling to Iran in exchange for releasing hostages. Took that money and used it to buy weapons and was shipping these weapons down to El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Honduras, and funding the Contras. And the Contras were literally killers who were being armed by Ollie North and the Reagan administration illegally. Congress had passed a law saying that the Reagan administration could not supply arms to Central America, and this was illegal, but they did it, and these Contras turned into death squads, and the death squads then just totally devastated the political landscape there in the 80s and 90s, and democracy is kind of slowly coming back, at least to Honduras and El Salvador and Nicaragua, but now they're descending into chaos again. And I think that we need to own up to our role in that. We need to find out what's going on with that violence, because these kids are not showing up just because they all decided to come to the United States. In many cases, they are coming because their parents are already here, and their parents are freaked out about the violence that's going on down there, and they sent for their children. And they had earned enough money to pay a human trafficker, a smuggler, to bring their children. And in many cases, these kids get killed, they get exploited, they get stolen, they get sold into the sex trade. All kinds of awful things are happening to them. Or they're being sent here by their parents in Nicaragua and El Salvador because their parents are so concerned about the violence there, and they have relatives or friends or neighbors in the former neighbors living in the United States who will take care of them. And this is a humanitarian disaster, and nobody's talking about it in those terms. Everybody's talking about it in terms of illegals, and we can't afford more people.
We like to ignore that area, but I remember in the 40s problems down there. We could never get any. They could never get any help. These people, these children that are coming in great amounts, are being housed at different places.
Yeah.
Our BLM, the military base here, is taking a number of them. But whether they have parents or not, they're here, and there'll be more coming. And if they open schools and they try to put them in, what are we going to do? It's just, it's very difficult to think what's going to happen.
I think we need to do whatever the humanitarian thing is to do. I mean, Joe Biden went down to that region last week, I think it was, to sit with the presidents of those countries and go on television and say, if you come to America illegally, you will be arrested and deported. Because there were rumors going around that, people were being given passes and permits and all this kind of stuff. And these rumors were being promoted by these human smugglers who make money on this. And so, he tried to put the kibosh on the rumors. but there's still the violence, and there's still the kids coming through. But if you're concerned about its impact on our quality of life or our standard of life or our health in the United States, which are the issues that I hear the right wingers on Fox News bring up all the time, I think we have a much bigger problem with, for example, two of the world TB hotspots right now are Los Angeles and New York City. And, where we have high enough levels of tuberculosis, contagious tuberculosis, that the UN and the WHO are worried about this. And these are not among immigrant populations. These are among not Native Americans, but among American citizens. And these are symptoms of poverty and a lack of health care. We need a national health care system in this country, and we're moving in that direction. And we need a good educational system. And if you're concerned about the impact on wages and workers, we need to go back to our protectionist, tariff-based trade systems that we had from the George Washington administration to the Ronald Reagan administration and bring our jobs back home. I mean, we are building China right now. We are building Vietnam. That's crazy. We should be building Cleveland. So, Dolores, thank you for your call. And I hope I've provided some answers for your concerns. I'm not worried about this. The United States is a big country. We're a very rich country. We have the ability and the means to deal with this problem. Whether we have the political will or not is a whole other question.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
Let me rephrase that. Whether the Republicans will allow the Obama administration to have any successes at all during his presidency is another question.